What's up, everybody? Hey, welcome back. I have a special guest here today, Mike GASMONEY, all the way in from California. If you guys don't know who he is, it's a crazy story. It reminds me a lot of my life where I started from very little. I was super fucking poor when I grew up, worked blue collar, worked in the automotive industry, then got into the Marines, and then later in life kind of figured out where I needed to fit into the world as a man. I think we have a prime example here of someone that has done something at a very high level, and he's come so far in his life, and I know that there's so much further he can go. You guys, please welcome Mike. Mike, introduce your story. Thank you for coming, and let's hit it, brother.
What's up, big dog? Man, here we are. Did I ever think that I would be in Miami and in Cali, driving a Lambo, working with you, being around who we're around? Like, I drove a construction truck for a long time, and that's basically how I grew up. That's why I was walking over here. I was like, I'm going to a podcast, driving in a Lambo by myself. Like, it's just it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, not to say that a Lambo is like the pinnacle, but to think how far I've come and the transition of the lifestyle is kind of crazy. And we're just going to keep going and see how far we can take it.
Yeah, no, I think you undersell it. There's a long way to go above a Lambo, but as far as regular society, that's a 1% human.
Absolutely.
Right. So I just look at it like this. What's a common car is we'll say a Camry.
Yeah.
Your car is.
I had a Camry, by the way.
Me too. It's a great car. I had a Honda Civic and then a Camry, but geez, a Lamborghini's 510. And it's really not about the money. I think the items we have and the material things that we acquire at time is really just a reflection of all the hard work that we did and how many people we can touch and help. And your expertise.
That's what I preach, is become the Lambo first. So when I see that car, I don't really look at the car, but I see all the hard work. Like you were saying, it's a reflection of who I've become. It's not the goal that you're getting, it's who you have to grow into to get that goal.
Right.
A lot of people want just material possessions, and that's the destiny. I'm like, the material possessions aren't really the destiny. It's just the resources, the money, the cars, that's going to fuel you to get to the real destiny. And what is the real destiny? That's saving souls. That's helping people. I mean, we're already getting right into the main message, but that's what it is. I mean, that's how I got the Lambo, if anybody's wondering.
Yeah, it's, you didn't sell drugs? Come on, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, Mike. Yeah. So we have the Lambo
Dreams,
now.
not drugs.
Yeah, exactly. We're hope dealers here, guys. Hope dealers. There's a difference. So you've come so far. You came all the way in from Napa. You're here in Miami now doing the bi-coastal situation. But let's go back further. A lot of your audience may not know, especially my audience, may not know where you come from. So kind of break us in. How did you grow up? Because I know you weren't just born this guy, jacked, good looking, making a ton of money, very successful, hardworking. You came from something, this high. Where was that life and where did you start? Walk us through that at the beginning.
Well, I'm from the Bay Area in a small little town called Napa, California. It's where the grapes grow. It's wine country. And I grew up, Mexican-American kid, Chicano. That's basically just like you're Mexican, but you're American. Chicano's kind of like, you don't fit in with the Mexicans, but you definitely don't fit in with the white people or the real Mexican paisa people.
Right.
That's the reality of it. So there's a Chicano thing, and I tell my grandpa, I'm like, yeah, we're Chicano, and he's like, what is that? That's not a race. And it's like a made up thing because that started in like the 1960s, and it was like a movement. But that's kind of the style of how I grew up, and that's get the slick back hair, the kind of that style, that Bay Area. Anyway, I don't know why I'm talking about that, but that's kind of how I grew up. Listening to Santana, James Brown. Like, I play music, so I grew up in a musical family, and family's super important to us. That's how I grew up, bro. Like, there was always a guitar in the house. There was always a piano, and I play bass. I could pretty much play any instrument somewhat, and that's very, very loving, very community, very family oriented. But I grew up very typical in that sense too. Didn't have a crazy story. I didn't go to prison. I did, just the normal drinking, drugs and stuff like that, but I didn't have a crazy story. But I think that's important because most people don't. Right. And that the majority of people have a normal story.
Sure.
And I think that's why I can reach a lot of people if I tap into that, which I have. And
I would disagree though. So you don't have like the Hollywood story of, we'll just say that Spartan warrior went to prison, went off into war and killed a bunch of people. You don't have that story. But I definitely believe your story is very American. Blue collar workers is the American dream. Church, family, hardworking, one woman, die with your family and be surrounded by all your grandchildren and family. That's the American dream.
Absolutely.
So you were living that.
Yeah.
So along this way, that's where you were and where you started. What did you do as employment? Were you, just straight into Five Guys, fast food? Did you go to college? Where were we at that?
Well, I wanted to say that when I was, so what I'm doing today, I've always pushed that red line. The red line meaning I was always pushing my comfort zone. Sure. So even this wasn't something that happened just 4 years ago. So if we take it back when I was, 15 years old, but even before that, I was always like a star athlete. I was on the all-star teams. I was always pushing it. I was a leader of my crew in elementary and middle school, just like somehow influencing, somehow gathering people. And I was like, didn't try to be, but I was in the middle of it.
Right.
When I was 15, I made a USA baseball team that, they pick people, baseball players, all over the country, and we're going to travel all the way across the country, not across the country, to Puerto Rico. And that was my first experience that really pushed me out of my comfort zone. From there, I played Division I baseball as a walk-on. I came from a small town school. I know you've probably heard that story, but for anybody else, like that's rare. That's like somebody who's a millionaire who has abs and has a Lambo. Like it doesn't happen.
Never happens.
It never happens. Like how many D1 athletes do you actually know?
I know a few, but that's because that was where I was at. But
exactly.
It's super rare. A couple of my high school friends were in the Olympics and shit, but that's not common whatsoever.
Right. Like even just the audience, like how many D1 athletes did you grow up with? Do you actually know that you could hit up? And then being a walk-on. So I looked back at my whole life and I'm like, man, at 15, I stepped out of my comfort zone. Didn't even know what I was doing. At 17 and a half, I was in college, stepped out of my comfort zone. From there, got my master's in business administration. And then I went into construction. But I'm doing this now of what I do, kind of living life on the edge, one would say, going for my dreams, going for goals, like really pushing. I just look back and I'm like, man, there's little fingerprints of that like drive, that heart. And I think that's what makes my story a little bit different. Oh, yeah. It's that I didn't hit that rock bottom and decided to do a life change. It's always been present there. Yeah. I've always had that.
Well, success oftentimes, for what I've noticed in life when I observe it from the outside looking in, even in my own life, it's a ladder, right? The success is typically a character trait of perseverance, doing it when no one thinks they should do it. They're stubborn as fuck. They never give up. They have these unique characteristics all the time, over and over again. So usually if you're successful here, you have evidence of success throughout your whole life. Now, it doesn't mean you may not have been driving Lambos or hit the lotto or whatever, been a millionaire, but you've always pushed the personal limits beyond, we'll just say, your social circles. Like how many people in your family have master's degrees?
I was the first.
Exactly. That's success. How many people were a D1 athlete? You're the first. How many person driving a Lambo?
I was the first.
Same thing. I'm the first in the family.
Exactly.
First in the family with education, first in the family in the war, first in the family in everything. First millionaire in my family, over and over and over again. It's the first. But that trait was present when I was at like 15.
Yep.
I worked 18-hour days, 7 days a week when I was 15. Right, so I laugh at grown-ass men today. I don't laugh. It's not really a funny thing. It's really sad is that they can't go that hard, is that they can't find 30 minutes to go to the gym. I was working 16, 18, 20, sometimes 30 hours straight as a 15-year-old. So when a grown man can't go to the gym for 45 minutes to better their future, to maybe drop some pounds and live longer, I can't respect that, because that's not a trait I've ever had. I'll always be able to do it. You want me to stay up for another 24 hours, bro? Where are we going?
Yep.
I'll roll. Like
Absolutely.
I don't even need to call anybody. I'll leave the fucking car. Tow it.
Absolutely.
Let's go, dude. Let's go to Napa.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think about like fear. Like fear holds people back. And when I was playing baseball, like it's high pressure.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you're playing in front of UCLA, USC, all the top schools, Stanford. I played against all of them.
Oh, yeah.
As a kid that didn't develop these core value traits of like confidence, self-esteem, I had to build all those.
Right.
There was things that were innate in me, like heart, drive. That's a lot of Mexican people have that, by the way. Like that's why Mexican boxers are like, oh, you don't even have to be a Mexican boxer. You could be like just any kind of fighter, and they'll be like, oh, you got that Mexican style, you got that Mexican heart. It's just what's in us, right?
They just don't give up.
They don't give up, and I had that. Not everybody has it, but I have that. But I had to build that confidence and that overcoming that fear. But I remember playing baseball, partly of what was really holding me back was the fear, was the lack of self-esteem, was the just kind of stepping back a little bit. And me having that feeling, it's a feeling. Fear is a feeling. Like,
it takes you off your game.
Exactly. And I was like, I never want to feel like that ever in life. I don't care what I do. That's why I go so hard.
Yeah.
Because I hate that feeling.
Yeah.
I hate losing, but I hate feeling fear more than anything. I hate feeling like a bitch.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what pushes me. Whereas most people will be like, yeah, I feel like a bitch, so I'm going to downgrade my life. I'm going to downgrade the chick that I get. I'm going to downgrade the car that I get. I'm going to downgrade everything. It's because you have a lack of self-confidence. It's a self-worth issue.
No, it's all mine. It's all fucking mine. So as a young person in my life, I've pushed the envelope of risk way beyond legality. Even in the military, I would push the envelope of risk constantly. Maybe even some would consider reckless, but I do have fear, but I have the ability to turn off fear. There's not much in life I fear. What is the greatest fear most people have? Like, oh, I'll start at a new industry and I could go broke. Good. I need that risk to go that much harder. So every day I wake up, I'm broke. Every day I wake up is my last day alive. This is my morning routine. I actually say it out loud. I'm broke as fuck, and today's my last day to live. Because every day's precious, but you need urgency. If you can't cultivate that reality in your head to push hard like you're hungry, then you're not going to make it. Not against people that operate like you and me in the world. Yeah. It's not going to work. They're just going to run you down, run you over, and step right over you. Yeah. And that's sad, but that's the truth. That's how life is.
Absolutely.
The world's not everybody gets to win.
Absolutely. Like our dreams, our goals, our life, it's going to cost you something. Sure. And that's what people don't get, is that they're wanting to get the Lambo, the money. I'm like, just remember, it's going to cost you something. Even having a relationship with God is going to cost you something. Having a relationship with your woman is going to cost you something. Having your business is going to cost you something. So why not? And they don't want to invest in anything, not invest in a coach, not invest in anything. So it's like, man, what's the saying? Your new life is going to cost you your old one. You know?
100%.
Yeah.
It's the behaviors though. So the things wherever you're at in life, it doesn't matter what level, the people around you are keeping you stuck in that bubble because they don't want to be left behind. It's not intentional, but that's just what communities do. So you'll see it like you get into a community and you might be the wealthiest guy in the community. That group is holding you back. If you want to really elevate your life, you need to be around people that are more dominant, more athletically accomplished, more financially accomplished, so that they can push you beyond your limits. Because in all reality, none of us are really even tapping into our limit. I mean, we're children of God. We dominate this planet, but you see a human being can climb Mount Everest. Absolutely. But then there's also a human being that can't even get off the fucking couch. So inside of us is that person that can climb that mountain. All of us have the greatness in us, and we just don't see it.
Yeah, and one day, like, I tell my people on my team, I coach thousands of people at this point, and I'm like, you're one cheeseburger away from going back to your old life. Like, just remember that, and so am I. Like, just because I'm here today, man, like all it takes is a tall can of beer, a cheeseburger, a miss here, and you're back to your old life, maybe worse, because you know that you could be what you could be. You know what you could have been, and you're like, dang, I'm just gonna stay, you know what, a bitch, basically.
Stay comfortable.
Yeah, stay comfortable.
Yeah.
So it's just that's what it is.
So take me down that rabbit hole. You mentioned alcohol. Do you drink?
Oh, I don't drink anymore. Anybody who comes in my DMs, I'm like, drinking's for bitches, because that's what. I don't know if you drink or not.
No, I don't drink. I don't drink.
Yeah.
I can't. I don't drink anymore. I gave it up. I've been sober now. November will be 2 years.
That's good. That's good. The reason I say that is because vices, it's a vice. You know what I mean? Sure. And think about what has alcohol done in anybody's life. I'll wait. Just give me one freaking thing. I'll wait. There's nothing. A good time.
There was that one girl that one time.
But remember, that came from lust, and lust takes from you, and love gives to you. So it's just like, what has it given to you? It takes away your vision. Yeah. It takes away your purpose, and that's what it was doing to me. Yeah. And I realized that every time I was drinking, I was escaping. I was running. I was avoiding. And so I wasn't elevating to that next level, that level up in life, that promotion with God or promotion in the world, because I wasn't facing my trials. I wasn't facing my troubles. I wasn't facing the man in the mirror. That's right. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, this is fun, F-U-N, but it wasn't really that fun. I mean, I was fighting with the girl that I was with, multiple relationships, and I didn't like who I was. I was skinny fat. I was 165 pounds. Didn't look good, and I was just like, forget this. My dad was an alcoholic. Sure. And so knowing that, I was like, it runs in your blood. I've had my uncle, he died from alcohol. Like our whole family, when we drink, we drink.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
drink
like
hard.
It's all off to the races. Just how you see me in the weight room hitting 405 for 10, 12 reps, I'm the same way with drinking. Like, I'm going to beat you in drinking. For real. And you probably have the same mindset as me.
I go hard in the paint, bro. That's
so what does that do
it.
for us?
It fucking killed me. Yeah, it destroyed my world slowly. It took me piece by piece. My dad died of cirrhosis of the liver directly from alcohol. My mom died of complications from drinking. They both died before their time. My dad died in his 50s, and then my mom died, it's been a minute, but like 8 years ago. So I don't even know how old am I now, right? So it's like a while, right? So, but I had those. That was what I was shown as a young person was okay. Yeah. It's just my mom would have her first drink of vodka and like Sprite at 10 a.m. Right. And she would just drink all day. She'd smoke weed, drink all day, and the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. Mm-hmm. So, I was doing some things that ultimately, to manage life, I was using alcohol and drugs to escape myself.
Absolutely.
And it just took me piece by piece, man. And the wisest decision I ever made was getting a fucking coach that would not bend. You might not like him. He might not be for you, and that's okay. My guy is not for you. You're too fucking weak. But my guy woke me up, didn't drink, didn't do drugs, wasn't doing anything other than trying to live his ideal life. Right. And that inspired me to just drop that. And my life has never been better.
Well, that's a good point, because before all this, we never really had like true role models. Like alpha male to me is not like having multiple bitches. To me, that's my opinion.
Sure.
It's not drinking. It's not doing drugs. It's having like good moral character, good spirituality, being connected to something. And the most important thing to me that I realized was, if you lose your connection with God, if you lose the ability to hear God or talk to God, that's what the alcohol was doing to me. You're lost at that point. You can make all the money in the world. You can keep going. You could conquer the world. But if you don't have God, then what do you have? You don't have anything. And that's what the alcohol was doing. It was dulling God's voice. It was dulling my conscience. And the conscience is just, one could say that's God talking to you.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're using drugs to dull that out and to null it out, I think that's what the devil wants. He wants to distract you and keep 100%. You away from your real vision, because your vision is going to fall in line with your purpose. Sure. And the purpose is what? Everybody has a little bit of a different purpose, but it's to save souls for sure.
Oh, yeah. I think it's to provide. My purpose is aligned to leveraging what life I have left to reach out to as many people as I can in the way that I can. I know that everything I went through difficult in life was a building block in preparation for now. So there's something coming in the future that's going to test me unlike I've been tested before. If it wasn't for those things, I would fold, right? So now it's hardened me to where I can survive and go past. I don't know what that is, but I do know based on social media and basically our movement and message that we kind of, our group has, is that we get a lot of negative take a lot of negative heat. Most people go through my comments and be like, I get girls, right, that I know, like, oh, I can't stand social media, blah, blah, blah. Like, I see your comments, I just want to kill people.
Right.
And I was like, but I'm not really the object of their dissatisfaction. It's really just a reflection of them, right? So they're just projecting their hurt and anger towards me.
Yeah.
But a lot of people can't take that. It's probably say like 50%, 30% of the messages aren't kind.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, who do you think you are? I was like, I don't think I'm anybody. I'm just me.
Yeah.
You don't like it, go away.
Well, the delivery doesn't really matter. Does anybody like how God talks to them? God doesn't talk to you nice either.
Exactly.
So like he's stern, he's disciplined. So are you as a coach. So am I. That you need boundaries. You need, like, a father is stern. He sets the boundaries, the rules, and things like that. So I'm like, the delivery is up to Clinton. You know what I'm saying? The message is up to God and your conscience and your spirit.
Right.
You know?
I just tell the truth, man.
Yeah.
So I'm not perfect. Sometimes my delivery is a little too truthful, and I'm not for everybody.
Yeah.
I'm kind of I like to be alone, really. I do, but my delivery is sometimes just too pointed for a lot of people, and that's okay. I don't mean ill will. I actually want the best for absolutely everybody. Even my worst enemy, even in combat, I wanted the absolute best for my absolute enemy.
Yeah.
I would hope that they would see the light and just not show up to the battlefield today.
Yeah.
Go to your family.
Yeah.
Live to tell another day. And they didn't. But that's always my hope, is the best for everybody, because I don't believe in karma. I mean, I don't believe that negative energy helps me in any way. So I just try to send positive. Like, fuck it. Like, I wish you the best, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't fuck with you anymore, but if you ever need anything.
I have a question for you. Do you believe in karmic debt?
I do. I really do. I believe in spirituality and an entity beyond, because I've experienced some things in life that don't make sense to me. Well, we'll say a spiritual event has happened before in my life. It's only been one. It's not crazy. I'm not delusional. Shit actually happened, but I fell asleep in the car.
Yeah.
After a long day at work when I was 19 years old, right before I went into the Marine Corps, I worked all day. I worked in automotive, so I painted Corvettes at like 19 years old before I went into the Marine Corps. And went partying in San Antonio, Texas. From Austin to San Antonio is about an hour and 15 minutes at like 80 miles an hour, not Miami traffic. So we party all night, come back, I fall asleep in the wheel. I hear a voice when I'm fucking clocked out. Like, I'm not waking up till the morning asleep.
Yeah.
It says, Clinton, wake up. Then 10 seconds later, I hear that same voice again, but louder. Never heard it. It was a male voice, said, Clinton, wake up right now. I was barreling at highway speeds, dead asleep towards the off-ramp, like the barricade. I overcorrect on the highway, pull off of the road. I'm obviously basically my heart's gonna jump out of my chest. And that was essentially like I don't know if it was my ancestors, if I imagined it while I was asleep, my conscience waking me up, but that was like an unexplainable, non-natural event. Everybody in the car was asleep, but it saved my life and everybody in the car's life. So since then, I know, without a doubt in my heart, 0 plus 0 has never equaled reality, right? So there's something that we don't understand beyond this flesh. And I definitely believe in karmic debt, spirituality. You know, you reap what you sow. There's nothing wrong with the Bible or Quran. Those are great books to live by, and they're moral guidelines. And I do my best. I'm an infallible human, full of sin and mistakes, but I try to do my very best today to live a better life and take care of my family.
Yeah, it makes sense.
How about you?
That's why I was curious to know. That's something that I think about a little bit. But I have another question. I want to ask you one more question.
Whose podcast is this? Come on, Gas. No, give it to me, brother.
No, I want to know. I'm
curious.
Give
it to me.
Have you ever wanted to keep searching, like what that voice was? Who was that speaking to you? Or did you put it in a box and be like, oh, dang, at least I'm saved? That's what happened.
No, how it works for me is, I've read the Bible 7 times. When I was in combat, I was in war, if the audience doesn't remember. Been in combat 355 weeks of my life. Both invasions, Iraq and Afghanistan. I've dropped more bombs on humans than probably anybody in history. And arguably, there's probably only 3 other individuals in the entire Marine Corps that are equal or close. But I'm going to take the fucking thing. No one's dropped more bombs on humans than me, but that's not a good thing. But at the end of it, when I was reading the Bible has its warriors, and they're evil. They're converted into weapons for God, and they basically destroy cities in the name of God's name and protect its people. Well, it's kind of like a wolf that protects the sheep against the wolves, right? So sometimes you need very hard, somewhat dangerous individuals to protect the masses because they're not built for it. They're sheep. In my life, I've basically been evolved to be that wolf. I can turn on and off death, no problem. Me and a couple of friends come through this building and we will level it if it needs to be done. And that's just the job. So I believe that that's in preparation for something in the future that I'm unaware of. Like I live this life of pretty godly life. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I'm not chasing girls. That's the biggest temptation. And here in Miami, they're beautiful and everywhere, and drugs are everywhere, but I don't do any of those things. I live a pretty monkish life. I'm up at the same time, 4:30 every day, go to bed at 11:30 at night. I have the same routine with you guys. I can see you guys a couple times a week, run my business, so it's the same. But at the end of the day, I believe I'm living in line with that biblical warrior. Yeah, I really am. Yeah. And I believe in all that shit. I mean, that's it. I don't know if I'm going to see angels one day or the demons, but I see demon-like behavior in a lot of people regularly. I spot it. I'm like you can see it. Like their eyes aren't present.
Well, exactly.
Like it's like black, and they're not like emotionally present. They're
absolutely.
It's like their soul is like being blocked or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they're disconnected between reality, their soul, and their body. Yeah. There's something in there. And I see it. I see it in the behavior in society. I see it in the behavior of men and women and young people. It's even worse, and it's alarming. So I don't know. I have to be part of that message to show them that there's another way, right? What happens if they're all wrong and we're the ones that are right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a big problem. Yep. It's going to be a lonely time. And
yeah. I don't really like tell anybody. I was just curious as to the other, like that voice that you heard it, because I agree, like that's the life that we lead. You know, we're warriors. We live a hard life. We do. I mean, the way we structure our days. But I was just curious as to what you think that was, or if you've ever walked down that road. And we don't have to get into that anymore. But it's just for me, I just tell people like, the first thing that you got to do is drop vices, start like really getting your habits dialed in. That way you can start hearing your conscience. Yeah. And then the conscience can lead you. That's not up to me. Like if God wants to enter your life and you want to label that's on you. I'm not going to like really, I'm going to get out the way. I'm more of like raising souls so God could save a soul. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like the back door to the church. Sure. I'm not the front door. I'm not wearing, the suit and tie, and I'm not preaching or anything, but I do the actual day-to-day habits, and I teach my people to live like a godly life in a way without really saying it.
I agree with you there. That's way more important than going to church and then fucking it all up the moment you leave. I live through action. Show me your actions. Don't tell me you fucking love me. Show me you love me, right? Don't tell me you're doing all these things and you're gonna see me. I'm gonna show you I'm the baddest one. I'm gonna program so hard, right? Homie, you've never seen anybody like me. I'm like, it's pump the brakes, bro. It's like, this is easy. Just show the world what you're made of. It's like, I don't need to hear about it. I don't give a fuck, but show me, right? I rather see people living a godly life than talk about it, right? Too many people talk out the side of their face about so much bullshit. Like, just live it. Live godly, and whatever that looks like for you, live it and try to do better. Like, I don't know. I have that voice inside of me constantly. I struggle, just like I think every human that exists.
Yeah.
There is that call to, I have that call. Don't get out of bed. I have that call. Don't go to that sales call. Don't show up for your people. Take that drink. Go chase that girl. Like, I have that call like any adult.
Yeah.
Right. But when you bring it back, it's that's a choice. Choice of good and evil is inside of all of us. So you get to choose the kind of man or woman you want to be at any moment. So it's no one else's fault. Like, it's not my environment. I grew up in the fucking trailer park. I made it out. I was in combat, made it out. I've been in the streets of Miami. I made it out. I'm living a good life. I don't drink. They're like, you don't drink in Miami? Not one drop. I drive past the people leaving fucking space at 8 in the morning on Saturdays. I'm like, you fucking loser in your fucking hoe dress and shit. Like, you've been partying all night.
Absolutely.
Jesus. Like, it's crazy. I just don't live like that. So temptation's everywhere, but restraint is true power. Like, if you're a powerful person and you can snap someone's neck and you got that boxer moves, you know how to throw combos and break fucking bones in their face and shit. Your power is restraint. Like, a restraint of not exercising it is true power. That person's going to mouth off and try to get their piece to like one up you, but the real power is restraint. Like, I know I could rip your head off, dude. Like, just what? Yeah. You don't have to prove you're a bigger person. A bigger person is restraint to me is power. That's one thing I learned in all my time in the war is knowing when to not exercise your power, show compassion. Sometimes you regret it, of course, but but you got to show
strength through restraint.
You got to show them your love light sometimes, and sometimes it bites you in the ass, but you got to do what feels right in the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
You'll take your lumps and live.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's mine. I mean, I lived a hard life, so it's hard to sit up here and say like I'm super connected to God from all my past, but I definitely believe I'm moving in the right direction of a better life. I lived nothing like either of my parents, so hopefully my children can see that and do better than I did. And I would die a happy person if they were to be 10 times the human I was in half the time. I win. Yeah. My genes win, fool.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a legacy right there. So that's it. What would you say on that? What has been your biggest spiritual challenge as maybe even a coach or a young adult? I mean, you're not a young man, but you're also not an older man.
Yeah.
Like you're midlife.
Well, I feel like I'm just getting tapped in, to be honest with you, just getting started. So, like, I think why people can't really, like, connect with God is just, like, the food. The food is a big problem. That will get you out of alignment. Just overindulging in vices. All the habits that I talk about, not listening to your conscience. Like, the thing that I tell my clients to do is, like, right when you first wake up, like, don't open your email, don't open your bank account. The first thing you do is just, like, report above, report to God. And just, it's more of, like, surrendering. The reason why I say surrender is because that's powerful.
Right.
If you think that you get up and you make the money, that means that you make the money, that you took God out of it. Right. So I know that, okay, first report above and realize that God is providing the money to you. You don't see it. Most people don't see it that way because they're the ones, doing the hammering and the chiseling and doing the actual day-to-day work. But as soon as you think that you're the one that's actually making this whole thing go around, that's why you don't make any money. That's why you stay poor, because it's you're like poor in spirit. You're like, you have a poverty mindset from the get. So this is where I learned that because I was trying it on my own. I was drinking. I was doing all the things that we were taught, basically. Yeah. And I remember just basically sitting on a chair like this at 3:30 in the morning because my coach told me, wake up early, have solitude, reflect on your regrets. And so I just sat there and basically threw my hands up and just said, I give up. I didn't know what I was doing. I don't know how to pray. Like I don't really know. I talk about God a lot, but I'm not in the church. Like I'm not really like that.
Not
like
3 Hail Marys and
nah,
shit.
I'm not even close to that. But I am close to God.
Right.
I might not be close in the building, but I am close to God.
Well, you're probably closer.
Yeah, maybe.
You're probably a lot closer, bro.
Absolutely. And I don't really preach it. There's a quote. It's like, preach the gospel and use words if necessary.
Right.
And so that's kind of the get down. But anyway, I threw up my hands and was basically like, I surrender. I give up. Like, just tell me what I need to do. I'm like fucking up my life. And from there, I felt like a presence, kind of like a experience like that.
Right.
And from there, I'm like, man, what was that? Like, and, you know, however you want to call it, it's, you know, Holy Spirit, you know.
Hey, man, belief and hope I think they're tied together. Belief that you can go do something. There's no proof that you can't, but there's no proof that you can. You know, spirituality is the same thing. It's belief in something that can empower you. And belief is maybe the greatest human component that exists, believing that you can do it. Mm-hmm. If you don't believe you can do it, you absolutely will not, right? You fail before you start. But if you believe you can do it, I won't say you manifest it, but you just convinced yourself that failure is not an option, and you will do it.
Yep.
If you never give up, here's the thing with life is if you never give up and you just keep beating at it, you will win. You will win, and you will win greater and harder than anybody in your family if you just put in more effort into the endeavor. That's it. Who wants it more? You wanted to be a D1 athlete. If you really wanted to be a major leagues, you would have had to put in a whole lot more work.
Yeah.
But you could have done it. Yeah. The man today would put back in that body could do it.
Absolutely.
Right? Because it's just you weren't ready for the amount of effort and discipline required to achieve the goal.
Absolutely.
But now you are, and that's wisdom, experience, and perseverance.
So just getting aside, putting the spirituality to the side real quick, personal development is how I get some of the best transformations in the country. I'm one of the best coaches. I know that. Like I really am. I actually have a community. I have transformations, but how? And if you asked our coach, he would be like, "It's not how, it's who," you know. but how is the question, right?
Right.
And beliefs are gonna mold your reality.
Right.
So like a lot of people don't have what they really want in life. They don't have that $1 million business like I do.
Right.
They don't. They want it, but what is holding them back is it's those limiting beliefs.
Sure.
It's that repetitive thinking of that limiting belief that they're instilling into themselves. So for me, when I went to Puerto Rico at 15 years old, boom, automatic confidence boost. Sure. Even though it was in that athletic realm, I still got it. I still made that identity shift. Right. So what I do with my people is I get them to drop weight, but what that weight drop is an identity paradigm shift.
Sure.
And once I start getting them to, because behind any like fear, scarcity type feeling, you got to go to the core values. What are your core beliefs? And that's what I get down to people on my group calls. I'm like, all right, I understand you're struggling, but that's the end result. We're just talking about the result. Let's get to the cause. Like, what is the root of the problem?
Sure.
And it's your core beliefs. It's the way you think. Like a lot of people think that wealth is like material possessions. Wealth is in your thinking. Success is how you think.
Sure.
For 100%. So when I talk to people, I'm like, I know why you struggle because you talk like someone who struggles. You talk like someone who struggles. Yeah. I could tell by your speech.
Yeah, victim.
Victim, and even the words like I will try, loser. You lost already. It's so sly, like it's so quick, but you gotta be able to pick it up. So as soon as my clients start saying things like that, I'm like, stop. That right there, that's where you're losing. That's the root of it. And then it leads to an effect, an action, a behavior.
Oh yeah. They're giving themselves a way out.
Yeah. It's easy to miss, though.
No, it's very subtle, but so many people that aren't doing something, it's cultural. It's really cultural. It's a social structure. It's the way it is. It's okay to... So we'll just say this. Here's an example of this thing manifesting its way in the most simplest ways. Mm-hmm. Your word. How many adults hold true to their word in anything? We'll just use the simplest example. You set up a date with a female. Can that female get to that date on time? She had how many hours, days, and weeks to prepare, right? Yeah. A fucking ton. And she can't even show up on time. That is an indication of a social structure that it's perfectly okay to miss. and they think it's okay to miss a few minutes. What happens if we just didn't miss? We just said, I'm going to be there at fucking 6:15, and me and you were both here 15 minutes early. It's because me and you were successful. But the people that struggle to get in the room, that's where they miss. It's just the littlest behaviors where you won't bend on what you commit to. And you see that over and over again. How many friends have canceled on a fucking dinner, canceled on a fucking event, canceled on a meetup over and over and over again? It's rampant. That is an indication of it's happening everywhere in their life, not just in the moment to you.
Absolutely.
And that's what needs to be solved.
Absolutely.
Start there. I'm just going to get up.
Yeah. Well, I think that's like why we need people like ourselves, like representing, because if people don't really have like they don't really see their life in their mind. Like they don't have a vision. They don't have a way to see that. So they're so low level on that. And I say that in a humble way. I think in some ways that I was kind of like that too. So it's good to see somebody like me, Mexican American, driving a Lambo. I don't drink. I'm in shape and things like that. Now I gave you the roadmap right there.
Exactly.
And now, but it all comes down to the habits. Create your habits, and your habits will create you. I mean, it's all just habitual. You think a certain way, that's a habit. You act a certain way, that could be a habit. Your attitude could be a habit. You make everything into a habit. Now you're a different person because you created good freaking habits. So being late, that's just that you made a habit of being late. So that's how you break it. For me, I didn't wake up at the time that I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I mean, I've woken up at 3:15 for a good amount of time, and I was like, let's do 3:30. But regardless, I was waking up at 7:30. That, as a man, that's way too late.
Yeah, the day's already started. I mean, showtime's 8 a.m.
Yeah, exactly.
You got like sleep in your eyes, haven't eaten breakfast, barely like brushed your teeth on the way to work so that you can go lay sheetrock and shit. Like, that ain't okay.
Absolutely. I used to show up to the personal training because I own a gym too. So that was after doing construction. And I would show up at an 8 o'clock meeting. I would wake up at 7:37, brush my teeth. I would shower the night before and just roll in there at 8:02. I'm like, what is that, man? Like, come on, you gotta get your stuff. I knew it was wrong back then.
Yeah. No, I could sleep like anybody, but my dad, at least, he's gone. Both my parents passed, but my dad had something in him. He was very hardworking, big ass fucking gorilla hands and giant fucking forearms. He was like an old school man, like just like all those old, everybody looks up to their dad. There was just these larger than life characters, but my dad was no joke. But that dude was up at 5 a.m. every day that I knew him my whole life, Monday through Sunday, 5 a.m. Read the paper. Has anybody even held a newspaper today? I don't think so. I haven't seen one in forever, but it's not even a thing anymore. But he would read his paper, and that instilled in me that wake up time. And in the Marine Corps, I was not one fucking second late in a decade. 9 years active duty, not 1 second late in a decade. 5 a.m. wake up every day forever. And if we were in combat, it'd be like 3-4 hours of sleep. Just depends, but never late ever to anything.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. It started with that habit of getting up on time because he would wake me up. He's like, "Oh, you were out at 3 a.m. Breakfast time. It's 5, bro." On Saturday, like, God damn it. Like, all right, Dad, I'm getting up. I'm coming.
That early morning wake up, it's the first win of the day.
It's the thing, man. If you're like a sleeping in and you really want to start moving in the right direction, just lock in your wake up. That is so empowering. And then maybe not even do anything crazy. Just get up out of bed, maybe meditate, read, or I just lay there. Like I'll lay flat for like 5 minutes, not asleep, but like just kind of like lay and have my own time. And then I'll rock right into 10 sets of push-ups to failure. That's what I do. And that kind of wakes me up. Then I brush my teeth, go shower, do all that good shit. But that's like my routine in the morning. And then I work. So like the second I'm done with all that, I'm like actually working. Like doing shit that I was supposed to do the other day that I missed, or like catching up with all the admin shit. You know how it is as an entrepreneur, it's fucking busy. You're doing sales, you're doing fucking HR, you're doing operations, you're coaching people, like you're hanging out with the homies. You're like, you're just like last second of the day, you're like, I can't do anymore. Fuck.
Yep, absolutely.
You know how it is.
Yeah, it's just
crazy.
It's a grind, actually. doing this type of lifestyle, like I've done construction, I've dug ditches. Like you see me in the weight room, like I'm just like I know that I'm a hard worker.
Yeah.
But doing this energy, it's energy work, like really transforming your clients, working with people all the time, getting like internal transformation, because that's how you get the external transformation. Takes a lot of your energy on the inside, and you got to go refill your cup somehow.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
think that's why I developed these meditation, praying, just more of like a internal practice, connection with God.
Yeah. No, it's required.
Yeah.
You have to be a larger than life character to take that, because it is massively draining to output. We'll just say flow state energy when you're working with an individual is massively draining. Like I did a stage event, spoke up on stage. I actually fell asleep in the car. Like I had to pull off to the side of the road and like go park in a parking lot. Like I conked out for like 30 minutes because like I was done, drained. Like I was just burning through energy on that stage for an hour.
Yep.
And when I was off that stage, I was fucking wrecked. Like wrecked, man. It was like, I don't even think I've hit the gym that hard. I was just so psychologically drained from just outputting so much energy on stage.
Yeah.
It's hard, and it's a different kind of hard.
Yeah, I mean, but I love it, because I mean, I don't really get up for me. Like I do all this for my people. I have to.
Right.
Like it's purpose driven.
Yeah.
Like your purpose in life is to solve a problem. You know,
Yeah.
Your purpose is hidden in your trauma. Like you have to, like, purpose fulfills you. You know, money just it takes from you in a lot of ways. Like lust takes from you in a lot of ways. So I'm like, yeah, I have to do this type of thing. So, I mean, I give my all to it, bro. And I think that's how I get these transformations, because it's just like physical and energetic work, just really working with people at all hours of the day. Like I was just doing street coaching down on Brickell, and that was fun. That was good.
It's different,
because
right?
it's different. Yeah, it's good though. Like it's needed, because we don't just do this shit for money. Like I said, like we don't take a day off. The message doesn't take a day off. All the captions that I write. When I first started working with Wes, you want to know something? Before all these coaches came, it was just like I was one of the first coaches.
Right.
And the thing that was just so prevalent then was who can write the best caption, who could write the dopest, not who has the dopest Lambo. And that's cool too. I'm not shitting on it. Right. I'm saying, like, that's what the get down was, like who could speak the best, who could hit the hardest in terms of your message. And that's why I'm all about that. And that's why you see some of those guys, the original guys that were there, were about that.
Oh, that's the OG stuff.
Yeah.
This new crew is different, and
this is cool though.
it's different.
Yeah,
It's a different thing. I'm an old school guy, so it's kind of like to me, it's not that you win, it's how you win.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't see it that way. A lot of entrepreneurs don't see it that way. But I tend to see life as it's not just winning, it's how you win. And I like that stuff, that they put in effort. So I run the media agency, and I have hundreds of fucking clients in the different levels of the media game, from just starting to mid-tier to like elite-ass clients, like 8-figure, 9-figure entrepreneurs. Crazy shit. But the thing is oftentimes I see these guys just put the least amount of effort into their people. Your message for your social media is a connection to your people. I think it's massively disrespectful to the people when every single piece of content they grab their phone, and since they have a minute and they're just firing it off in their fucking bullshit shit bucket, like the angle's not good, they put in no effort into it, and they're just talking in front of their fucking phone while they're in the car. I think that's super lazy, and their people deserve better. Like, put some thought and effort into what you're doing. Make it presentable so you connect, and try harder. I mean, it's like everything in life. If you put in the least amount of effort, you're gonna get the least out of it. So I like those guys that put in like those just deep fucking captions. It's like poetry.
Well, yeah, if you go back and go through like 2024, 2023, 22, all the way down, that's a library. That's a catalog. So you could literally go down and learn lesson, and just extract the gems, apply them to your life.
Right.
So, I mean, it is selfish if you're just pitching, sell. I'm like, dude, you got to give, you got to teach, you got to like help somebody somewhere.
The market's moved so far beyond just pitching. It doesn't work. Like, yeah, sell. If you have a product, you need to sell your ass off to do it. But in the modern world, L'Oreal doesn't just sell something. They give you something, right? When you go to the car dealership, they want you to touch it, drive it. They're giving you something, experience. With this, we're giving them a piece of ourselves and some knowledge and some wisdom. And it's not, I just tend to believe it's how much value you can give them. I don't care what anybody says. Like, give them value. And if you're not going to give them value, then you better inspire the fuck out of them with what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, and that's value in its own way too, is like showing them, say, yeah, here I am. I'm out on these streets. Not one drink, not one number exchanged. I'm not here with a woman. Like, I'm helping people for free. That's massive value. Who does that? Like, I see all these coaches like, when am I getting in a sale? I was like, when you've given enough. I gave away content for like a year. I didn't charge anybody. I gave it away because I wanted to help them. I had something and I knew I needed to break the transactional nature inside of me, right? Because I was a business person. As a war, business, like I was super transactional. I just didn't give a fuck. I was like, fuck it. Like, where's mine? So I needed to break that. And the only way I could do it was selflessness. I needed to give before I was receiving. And I gave so much, people wouldn't let me leave their house. They would like pay me. I'd be like, no, I can't take this. And they'd like slide it into my pocket, money for the content. And then I would take it, go get a gift card and mail it right back to their fucking house, right? Because it just made me feel good that I was giving them something that they valued and trying to help them tell their story. And this whole journey is now really helping other people tell their story better, because a lot of people have a good story, but they can't connect with the audience. They don't know how, right? And the audience has seen so much of the same. You gotta stand out. You gotta do it the right way, or you just can't get your good message in the right hands. It's hard.
Yeah, well, it's going to reflect in your followers. It's going to reflect in the community that you have.
Yeah, it takes
how
time.
many followers you got? How many transformations do you have? Where's your people? And it's like, if you're not connecting, then you don't have the currency. You don't have the community.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's what it is. I'm like, I don't care what you say. The results have to tell the real story.
That's true.
And that's when I pull out my phone and I'm like, bam, 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 bam. All these transformations. I am the best coach. For real.
Yeah.
Like, and arguably, I could say that.
Yeah.
I'd be like, man, we got this guy and then this guy. They're dope too, but look at these results.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And I know I could put heat on it.
Yeah.
Heart, heat, and just
that's
all of it. And I'll bring it all out. You know what I'm saying?
Social proof is
Yeah.
the best sales strategy that ever existed. I do the same thing every time. It's like, hey, this is what we do. I'm good at it.
Yep.
Like, we go viral. We edit your content. Our clients are winning. They're growing followers. Their message is going on. Like, fuck you, little guys.
Yeah.
Like, where's your social proof? I thought you were building a fucking brand, right? Half your followers were fucking fake. You know who you are. Calling you out. Like, you can't do anything with that.
No, I was sitting with the guy at Pura Vida over there, and he was over there giving us advice. I don't think you were there. I don't know if you were, but he was like talking to us. He's like, oh, do you got a GHL? Do you got these funnels? And I'm like, kind of just filling them out. I'm like, damn, this guy must be like killing it, like money-wise. He must have a community. No, but like, I'm giving the guy the benefit of the doubt. We're in Miami. You never know, good or bad. Like, you could roll across a multi-millionaire.
Billionaire. You'd be sitting next to a billionaire, looks like he's homeless.
Right. And so I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I get this like feeling. I'm like, how much you make, dog? He's like, well, I make $12K a month. I'm like, $12K? I'm like fucking moving my chair. I'm like, this is
Don't
bullshit.
touch me, you fucking peasant.
But nah, it's not that. It's not the money. It's the way he was proclaiming it.
Yeah.
He was presenting it wrong. I'm like, I don't care about the 12K. I remember when I made 12K.
Yeah, that's a
I was
lot of
freaking
money,
proud of myself.
Yeah.
But like, you're coming out like that. That's a problem.
Yeah,
like that, we got to know
talking.
how to teach people how to conduct themselves. You know?
Yeah. So if you wanted to reframe this in like a very mature adult way with a little bit of strategy, say, hey, you guys ever heard of a funnel? Like, I use one of these funnels. It brings me about 12K. If you're interested in it, like, I could show you how to set one up or point you in the direction of my
or just
guy.
figure out like what level you're talking to. Because, we could have been with our guy who makes $2.5 million a month, or you could have been with a couple other guys who make 6 figures a month. I mean, just kind of find out who you're talking to. Maybe start there. You don't know who you're talking to.
Be like, 12K.
Yeah, 12K.
That doesn't cover my fucking dinner bill.
No problem with the 12K. It's just, like.
Yeah. It is what it is. That's Miami.
Yeah.
It's a fake it till you make it society. I've seen so many crazy shit, like dudes pulling their money together to drive a Lamborghini, and then they timeshare it.
Oh, that's
right?
weird.
Like, it's crazy. So it's like, what's a Lamborghini paying?
Well, I
like,
don't know what you're doing in that Lambo, bro. I want my own Lambo.
exactly.
You know?
Like, I know what you did in that.
Yeah.
I'm not touching that seat,
Yeah.
bro. That's gross. I feel.
Yeah.
Do I need a shot when I sit
Yeah, I don't
down?
know who you got in there, what kind of things you brought in there. I don't know. I don't even know what spirits are in this car.
Oh my
You know
God,
what I'm saying?
it's possessed, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't take a black light in there. So I want to hear this one story. So I talked this story. I want to bring this out, but you told a story where the men, right? So I'm a big family person. I believe family is a lot of things wrong. The lack of families is a primary reason there's a lot of things wrong in our society.
Yeah, yeah.
But I want you to kind of like tell me that story before we run out of too much time. Is that where you were like younger and like these grown men were like pushing you to the front to like hang drywall, and you're like forcing you to like man up, right? You have like all these elderly men kind of like pushing you out in front of the pack to like go get yours. So like kind of tell us that story, 'cause I love that shit.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I grew up around construction my whole life, man. My dad was a bricklayer. And so, like, if you know, out of all the construction people, masons are like the badass motherfuckers, you know, like the guys who lay the concrete and like do bricks and block and all that stuff, like chiseling all day. I mean, that's just like straight biblical stuff right there. They're hardcore, right? And that's how I grew up.
Yeah.
Like I looked up to my dad. I always saw him as like I don't really like the term, but like an alpha male, like a lion type, and my uncles and people, you know, in our family, like, you know, a relative is like an uncle, damn near, you know, if they stick around long enough like that, you know. So I guess the story that you're referring to is we were plastering this long ass wall. It's probably like freaking 120 feet long. It's like a 4-foot wall, just hella far. And I'm the first one to lay that first shitty mud that right there, just and this is what you're doing the whole time. You're just going like this, and there's like freaking 5 or 6 other dudes, and my dad's right there just telling me, and I'm already like 22 at this time, you know, so I'm not like 12, you know, I'm 22, and he's like, don't stop, because there's other motherfuckers right there, and you're gonna hold up the whole shit right there. And so I had to just keep going. I thought I injured my arm, you know, but and by the end of the whole thing, I'm like, this looks like shit. I'm just fucking throwing this mud up, but they were fixing it along the way. That's what your elders do. That's what they're supposed to do.
Fixing your mistakes.
That's what I do with my people. In a lot of ways, I'm the father figure, you know, or a mentor or a big brother to my clients. I'm teaching them how to act, how to be, just lacing them up, and that's what they were doing to me. I mean, just with hard work and just. I don't know if they knew what that story meant to me, but that's what it meant, you know?
Nah, see, that's the stuff I love.
Yeah.
The stuff I love is the things that people don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
Really. Like, they're embarrassed or they don't want to go back to that time of their life or whatever. But I think those are the most important moments, is the things that, those family moments. I'm a big family. Like, I can just see it, because there was times where I remember my dad and my grandfather pushing me out in the front. Right, and just this little whippersnack was just wet behind the ears, like just like, get the fuck out there, like go shake that man's hand and look him in the eyes and order dinner for us. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it, and you can't even get the words out of your mouth because you lack confidence so much. But it was those moments that prepared me for all of my life. I can talk to anybody. I swear to God, I'll pick up fucking Holly Berry. You put that lady in front of me, like, oh my God, it's over.
You're
Holly.
a problem, bro.
Like, it's a problem because I have so much confidence. I have delusional confidence because I don't give a fuck. Like, I know I'm a nice person. I know I can have a great conversation with that lady. And just because who she is doesn't offend me. Like, it's that confidence over and over again where you just know you can do it. And that's just a weird example, but I know I can accomplish just about anything in my life because I don't think there's ever a failure. Yeah. Really.
I think what the moral of that story is, like, you need strong male, like, people around you pushing you. And that's what the real moral of the story is. I had a line of them, and my dad quit drinking. He quit drinking. His brother quit drinking. And then his good close friend quit drugs and drinking. They all got in programs and things like that. So it started a long time ago. My purpose in life started with them.
Sure.
And that's how it works.
Now you're building your own pack and your own movement. Now they're propagating that message along their social circle.
Absolutely.
It's just the message is growing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, man, I just want to say thank you for showing up. I know you came a long ways from Napa, and you came all the way down here in your busy day to sit down and talk some shit with me. I appreciate it, man. I've been a big fan since I met you on the fucking burpee floor. Like, I see greatness in people. I know you're a star. I know you will do great things. You continue to do great things every day. And I just look forward to the next thing that you piece together that will shock everybody else.
Yeah.
You know it's coming. They can't see it yet. You do, and it'll shock people. And I look forward to that. I look forward to seeing you on stages. I look forward to your first event. I look forward to the Bugatti or the Rolls Royce or that whatever it is that you put your heart into and you want to go do. I just am going to be a witness like everybody else and support you along the way, man. So I'm excited for the future, and I just want to say thank you